I thought this was a good opportunity to say hello to everybody and thank everybody for all the years that you've been supporting me, performing as Roy Orbison all over the whole world. And it was a very unfortunate situation losing Roy back in 1988, December the 6th. He died of a heart attack, and I'm sure a lot of us have found that out over the years and know that anyway. How about a little information though on all my tours and so on around the world about some of the questions people have asked me that I was able to answer some folks, but a lot of questions, you know, I never had a chance to answer. And one of them I wanted to mention about the glasses that I wear in all the shows that I've done since about 1991 were a pair of Roy Orbison's glasses, which I still have, and I'll show you them right here. You might have seen an interview that I had with a very close and good friend of mine, Mr. Lance Lipinski, who plays the role of Jerry Lee Lewis, and traveled with me all over Europe and the U.S. as well. And we did several shows together and spent a lot of time. And he's a great guy, and I'm glad that he did this interview with me about Roy's glasses. I think if you look up Lance Lipinski on the internet or Jerry Lee Lewis, you'll find something about him. And on my website, there's also the clip of him talking to me and describing these glasses that I have here. They were given to me by Roy's brother, Sam Orbison, and Les Vogt, who was my manager and Roy Orbison's former road manager and good friend as well. And they were presented to me in Toronto, Ontario, and also with a company that made these glasses was Imperial Optical in Toronto, and they presented them to me at the C&E one year that we performed out there, and I'm very happy to have them, and I wear them all the time, you know, whenever I do a show. So it's like having a little piece of Roy on the stage with us, which I'm sure he doesn't disapprove of, and I'm sure he would have fully approved of it. They've gotten some little wee marks on them and so on like that. The only thing I do regret is that when I had the glasses given to me, there was such a strong prescription, I didn't have a chance to I didn't ask, I should say, Imperial Optical to save me the lenses. I had the lenses removed by Imperial Optical, and they removed them and put the tinted lenses that I have in here now. But unfortunately, I never got a chance to save the actual prescription glasses that Roy was wearing himself. And that would have been really nice for, you know, when the day comes that I do fully retire from performing as Roy. But anyway, that's where they are, and they're in a case that I picked up in London, England many years ago, and they're still with me in this nice case. You could have an elephant walk on top of these things and they wouldn't break. So, anyway, another little thing that I wear on stage that Roy was very noticeably wearing in most of his later pictures, you know, back more from the 80s, was this little medallion here that I always wore around my neck as well. These are very important to me because there was a young fellow in Toronto, Ontario, who was an apprentice silversmith and a jeweler. And he came to one of my shows in Toronto that I performed at, and we got talking after the show, and he said, well, didn't Roy Orbison wear you know, this sort of like a cross, you know, in all his pictures I've seen? And I agreed with him, and I said, yeah, but I just don't have one. You know, I said, I wear this eagle that I always had, that Roy, I don't think ever wore an eagle. So I felt a little funny wearing that. Anyway, he came to one of my shows about a couple of weeks after, because I was there for about 3 months, and presented me with this medallion here, which is an exact copy of one that Roy had around his neck. Anyway, that's important to me because it was specially made for me, and I've had that now probably for about, I don't know, about 14 some odd years now anyway, or longer. All over England, all over the world, everywhere I've traveled, the audiences have been phenomenal. The love for Roy was very obvious. You know, as soon as I walked out onto the stage, it was so nice to get the response and the applause, I should say. There was more than one person at a few of my shows. I hope they were anyway. Although, you know, when I got that response from my own going to Roy's shows, I seen that he used to get that kind of same response. So it was kind of fun to have that, and to know that people remembered Roy Orbison as I was walking out in the image of Roy Orbison. So that was kind of fun. But as Larry Granson, I've always been the same crazy, shy sort of guy that I am, and I'm still like that today. Although I've, you know, through his fans and performing as Roy for a little over 20 years now, actually. You know, I can't say enough. It's just been something I would never have done, of course, if Roy hadn't passed away. I would never have done it out of respect for Roy. I know a lot of people were doing tributes to Elvis Presley and so on, but before you know, he died. But I couldn't have done that to Roy, because there was only one Roy Orbison, and why do a tribute to him when he's still alive doing his own tribute to himself. Another little secret of mine that some people didn't know is, guess what? I do dye my hair. You didn't think I did you? You thought this was au naturel. Well, unfortunately, I had to color it because it was just a really nice sort of brown, off-brown color. And that's the way my hair would be now. If all this black was taken out, it would be a natural, beautiful brown, you know, with maybe a tinge of salt and pepper here and there, maybe a little bit, I don't know. Anyway, Roy Orbison dyed his hair from a very early age as well, in the early 60s, and so it made me feel more confident knowing that Roy did that. Roy and Elvis were close and good friends, and Elvis dyed his hair. Roy thought, well, maybe he should dye his hair as well, and it would be you know, something that would work for him, and it did. You know, he wore the black clothes, you know, so of course I wear the black clothes as well to play the best part I can. It was quite an adventure, and I got a lot of stories to tell, you know, and just a very quick one was just the one about meeting up with the Duchess of York, Fergie. You know, she came to see one of my shows in London when I was there at the Piccadilly Theatre in the West End of London, and I'll never forget that moment. It was just really a great experience, and many other big important artists that I've met over the years will be in the book as well. I'm going to try and think of some other little stories I can tell you, but we're going to come up with a book very soon that's going to have all kinds of neat stuff on it, all about my visits all over England and around the world. And I'm sure there's going to be something interesting in there for you to listen to, or to read, I guess. Anyway, I won't hold up any more time, and you can probably go and have yourself a cold one now or something. I'll go and have a cup of coffee or something, I guess. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, I don't drink. I never did do too much drinking, except in my early years, and then I didn't even do too much then either, just for the, but I don't want to let out too many secrets, because you gotta read the book to find out a little bit more about what I did throughout all the years. And maybe I'll even tell you some of the things I didn't do. Wait a minute. Those would just be blank pages then, wouldn't they? Why do that? Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Thanks a lot for listening. I'm going to walk out of the picture here again and let a cartoon come on or something right now. And I'll probably say a few words again another time. But thanks for watching my video and my website. And we've had very, very good response. A lot of people have been visiting the site, and thank you very much for that. Anyway, I'm out of here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da.